Daf Chof Ches Amud Aleph. We're about the third very wide line. Happy Hanukkah, last day, very exciting. It's supposed to be here learning Torah with you today. We have a question. Why with Alanism do we thank Hashem for saving us and seemingly ignore what we brought us trouble in the first place? Good kasha. So, l'chayra, all darkness was brought upon by Hashem, and you only appreciate light if there's dark. Something to do with that. You don't necessarily have to thank Hashem for the dark. We thank Hashem. You're supposed to thank Hashem. But that's not the highlight of the tefillah. Okay. Says the gemorah. When the nishmas. Okay, third wide line. Tano. It says v'shal musafim kol hayoyim. This is what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah says v'shal musaf is the whole day. You have a whole day to daven musaf. Amar v'yechanan. What happens if you wait till the end of the day? Amar v'yechan v'nikra pasheya. You call the pasheya. You call the sinner. If you wait till the end of the day to daven musaf. L'chayra Reb Chaim is going in the sheet of Chachamim that you have till the end of the day. Again, it's a machlekes. Reb Chaim says the Chachamim say you have till the end of the day to daven mincha, till nightfall, till Tesek Chavim, and Reb Yehuda says you've got till 7 hours in the day to daven musaf. So Ashar Shavias. That's what the Bryce says. L'chayra Rashi explains Nikah B'Sheya. If you waited that long to daven, musaf, you called a peshay. You have that time, but if you waited till the end, you're called a peshay. You're called a sinner. Don't worry about him. The guy's got in front of him two tefillas. You got two options. You got two tefillas in front of you, mincha and musaf. What should you do? In other words, it's 1 in the afternoon. You could have a mincha. You could have a musaf. Which one comes first? What should you do? The gemorah says, the Brisa says, mispal shel mincha, va'ach kach mispal shel musaf. First you should daven mincha. Then you should daven musaf. Why? Shazu tadira v'zu eina tadira. There's a kalal. You always do the thing that you do regularly, more frequently, you should do that first. So if you got mincha and musaf, you should first daven mincha. And I hear you all asking the question, why in Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, when it's late, we daven late, Shachris drags out for some reason many hours, so you got two tefillahs, what do? We say musaf first. This Brisa says you should daven mincha first, so we're going to try and address it soon. But before we get there, let's see the gemorah. The gemorah says, Reb Yehuda Aimer, what should you do? Mispalo musaf va'achach mispal shel mincha. Reb Yehuda's chaylek. Reb Yehuda says, no, you don't have a mincha first. First, you should daven musaf. Let's see why. So it says Reb Yehuda, why should you daven musaf? Shazu mitzvah veres, v'zu mitzvah she'eina veres. So according to Reb Yehuda, when are we talking about? When do you have both tefillahs in front of you? I'll tell you exactly when. There's a specific time of day. According to Reb Yehuda, 6.5 hours into the day. After 6.5 hours, you could daven mincha. You can't daven mincha from halfway in the day from 6 hours. You got to wait 6.5 hours. And you've got till 7 hours, according to Reb Yehuda, to daven musaf. So it's in that half an hour time frame. 6.5 to 7 hours. What should you daven? Mincha musaf. So says Reb Yehuda, since mincha you can daven till plug, but musaf you've only got half an hour, so what should you do in that half an hour period? Daven musaf, because it's going to go. You're going to blow musaf. If you daven mincha now, you're not going to chap musaf. So that's what we heard. But according to Chachamim, the whole svara doesn't make sense. According to Chachamim, you've got more time to daven mincha than musaf. You've got till the end of the day to daven mincha. There's no rush. So l'chayra, the machlekes, which one comes first, mincha musaf, is taliyin. What is the zman of musaf? When does musaf zman finish? According to Yehuda, musaf, you daven musaf first because musaf, you've only got till 7 hours in the day to do it. Midday plus half an hour. According to Chacham, you've got till the end of the day. You've got till nightfall. Omer Rabbi Yochanan, how do we paskin? Hilchas halacha mispal shel mincha va'achkach shel musaf. You first do mincha, then musaf. L'chayra like the chachamim. Like the chachamim. So, a couple of questions over here. Why does the gemorah say that the reason why, according to chachamim, you daven first mincha is kod tada she'ena tada tada kaidem? Shkach. Yeah. Why does Gemara have to say the reason why you daven fast is because of Tada Shein Tada? And the second question over here is, what happens on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? Why is it? Our Gemara l'chayr passing like Rabbi Yehuda. We passing like Rabbi Yehuda that we passing like Chacham. Sorry, we passing like Chacham in that you've got musaf till the end of the day. The whole day, kol hayom, you daven musaf. Right? So why in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur do we daven musaf first? Chacham said you daven mincha first because of Tada Shein Tada. That's a big kasha the Rishonim will deal with. What you do Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, Shachris drags out. We want to daven musaf first. Chacham said you daven mincha first. Tada Shein Tada, Tada Kaidem. So actually the Ra'ah isn't Gairis, it's Tada Shein Tada. According to Chacham, you don't need Tada Shein Tada. Why? Because the cheshbon is like this. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the only reason why you daven musaf first is because the time is going to run out. No, of course not. But according to Chacham, the time's not going to run out. You have to come on to that b'chal. So what do you do? So some Rishonim say, on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you're supposed to go ahead and pray much earlier. Don't wait to daven musaf till chatzos hayom. Start musaf before chatzos. That's what you should do, right? That's the first.
Is that why we start earlier?
Don't wait. I don't know if that's why we start earlier. You start earlier because otherwise you're not going to be able to come home for lunch, Bechal. But the point is, on Yom Kippur you're not going home for lunch, but you start earlier. I don't know. You start earlier. It's a long davening. You're not going to finish. You'll finish after the fast ends. Okay. So, yeah. So
I'll tell the story after sure.
So I'm against starting earlier. Actually, yeah, you're right. I'm against it. So according to some shitas, you're supposed to finish Shachris before Zman Musaf, before Zman Mincha. You can start Musaf before Mincha. Start Musaf before 6.5 hours in a day. Okay? That's the first tiras they give. Second tiras is, when do we say that Mincha? We could take a look at Taisus actually. Taisus explains the whole shaila is which one comes first. That's only if you've only got time to do one. You can only do one. You have to go out. You have to go for a masiba. It's a Hanukkah party. You got to go to a simcha. You can't do mincha musaf. So what should you do? Do mincha first. Because first do mincha because you're not going to be able to do musaf afterwards. That's how someone understand. Therefore, on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, where you got time, you get here all day. You can say both. You're not eating the whole day. You're not going home. So say musaf first. Where does mincha come first? That's only if you've got no options. You've got no choices. It's this or that. But if you're going to do both, no rush. The Rishonim say, when do we say Tav Shem Tav Kodim? That you first do the frequent one. That's if you want to do both. Mincha, musaf. You want both. What should you do? Do the frequent one first. But here you don't want to daven both. Here you want to do musaf. Mincha you want to push off later. You want to do mincha later. I don't want to do both now. I want to do musaf now. Why do you want to do musaf now? Because mincha, some Rishonim say this is the ikketeres because mincha, the ikkezman, isn't midday. The ikkezman mincha, you can daven from midday. But it's only b'di'eved yetza. Mincha is supposed to be prayed sunset, when the sun goes down. Mincha ktana. That's when you're supposed to daven mincha. That's the ikkezman. So the whole, according to this sheet, the whole shaila of the gemorah is mincha versus musaf. That's only after mincha ktana. Before mincha ktana, you're not supposed to daven mincha now. Bichlal. But the evedi yaitz if you daven mincha. If you daven your yaitz, but you're supposed to wait. Don't daven mincha now.
So technically, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you can get away with it davening musaf.
Why without? You do both. You got time. You can do both. Other Rishonim want to say the Rambam says, you know what? The whole machlokes here, Mincha versus Musaf is only biyachid. When you're by yourself davening, what should you do? But when you're in a minyan, when you're in a tzibur, you first do Musaf then Mincha. We don't say Tolav Shein and Tolav. Tolav Shein and Tolav is a din in the tzibur. Others say it's only when you're pasheya. The reason why you're davening Musaf so late is because you're pasheya, you drag your feet. But otherwise, you don't have this whole issue. Okay? Says the gemorah. One second. All right. Ki have a chalish Rizera. The story about Rizera, ki have a chalish Megirsei. He was very tired. He learned too much. He was learning for hours, days, I don't know however long it was. He was weak. So what did he do? Have a Ozel v'Yosef a Pischa de B'Nosim Batuvi. He went to sit at the house of Reb Nosim Batuvi. He couldn't learn. His brain wasn't functioning. I think they say about the Chofetz Chaim. You ever heard the story? They say about the Chofetz Chaim that he was very sick as a kid. He learned too much. And the doctors told him he's not allowed to learn for a full year. So as I think it was 17 or 18 years old kid, for a full year he didn't learn a word. So yeah, there's such a thing, such a musag. He was too weak. He said, they told him, don't learn. So he couldn't learn, right? He was weak. What happened? He went to a Pischa de B'Nosim Batuvi. He said, why do you sit by the door? Ki chalfi rabbanan, as the rabbis walk past me, Eikom, I'll stand them, I'll stand up in front of them. V'akabaligra, and I'll get schar, at least for standing up. Now, everyone wants to know, I don't understand. Well, he's doing it for schar? You're not supposed to do mitzvahs for reward. Why? He wants to stand up at the door to get reward. That's why you're supposed to do mitzvahs. You don't do mitzvahs for reward. You get rewarded. But that's not the reason why you do. Don't serve Hashem to get reward. Serve Hashem because it's the right thing to do. He says he stood by the door to get reward. So one of the answers they say, I think the most understandable one is, he wasn't mechuyev, he wasn't obliged to sit by the door. If you do what you have to do, don't do that for reward. But if you're doing something you don't have to do, you could have gone home to rest. But once he's doing extra, lifnim mishus he's doing something no one else does, that you can do for reward. That's one malach. The second malach is, what reward did he want? He wanted the reward to be mechaber tamid chachamim will let you learn Torah. He didn't want to, he's not standing up by the door so he should get a new car. He wants to stand up because some say if you mechaber tamid chachamim, you have children tamid chachamim. So that's the reward he wanted. He wanted the reward. He should have more kasha to ruchnius, to spirituality. That's the reward he wants. He doesn't want, he wants from kids. Nafak, also Reb Nosim Batuvi. So what happens? He's standing by the door, comes out Reb Nosim Batuvi, the Balabayas. Amalei says to him, Man Oma Halacha Bei Midrasha. Did anyone say Halacha in the base of Medrash? What are they saying? Amalei Hachi Omer Reb Yechanan. This is what Reb Yechanan says. Ein Halacha Reb Yehuda. We do not pass like Reb Yehuda. Which Reb Yehuda? Reb Yehuda. The Amma Mispal Odesh Musaf Achim Mispal Shem Mincha. Reb Yehuda says you first do Musaf, then Mincha. He said, Rabbi Yechanan says we don't pass like this, Rabbi Yehuda. That's what he said. Again, Reb Nosim Batuvi said, the Rabbi Yechanan, in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, we don't pass like Rabbi Yehuda. We pass like Chachamim. First you should have a Musaf, Mincha, and then Musaf. Amalei, he said there, Rabbi Yechanan Amra. Did Rabbi Yechanan really say this? Amalei, yeah. It's a funny word. I taught this already 40 times. So he said to him, why did you say this over 40 times in the name of Reb Yechanan? Is it because it's the only thing you heard from him? It's chada, it's take a look in Rashi. Chada hilach. It's a machlekes if he said chada hilach or chadas hilach. It's like chadas means it's new. Is it because you thought, there's no way you thought Reb Yechanan would say such a thing? Or it's because this is the only thing you heard from him, that's why he's saying this over from him 40 times over? Okay, that's what he asked him. It's new to me, it's a chiddush. I wouldn't think Rabbi Yechanan would say such a thing. Why? The Mesafkele, but Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. I would think this is Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, not Rabbi Yechanan. That's why it's a chiddush, it's Rabbi Yechanan, so I said it over B'Shmai. Omar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Said Reb Shimon Levi, call him spal tefillah musaf lacha shefa shais. What happens if you daven after 7 hours musaf? You waited. You daven musaf after 7 hours, like we do many times on Rosh Hashanah Kippur. The pasuk says, "Noige mimoyed asafti mimei chayu." Noige mimoyed means the people are hit or bashed from the moyed. The Mefarshim explain it means that the people who are suffering that they can't go to the base of Mikdash, to the temple on Chag, asafti mimei, I gather those people in. Klal Yisrael, you can't go to base of Mikdash now. You're suffering because you can't go. I gather you in mimei from the nation. So my mashma, the high nugi, listen to Tavrahu. What's the implication that nugi means broken? The people are upset, broken. Could be talking about Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef is mitagim. Tavra asi al sanein de beisela da achvi zmani ma'idid Yerushalayim. That's how the Rabbi Yosef is mitagim. So just interesting. A side note, I think I saw my great-great-grandfather Sefer. He says anywhere it says the sherish of the word is nugi is nun gimel, nag. Right? Nag means to hit, to bang. That's what all the words, to some type of... So for example, a nega is to be hit by a virus. By a neged is you're against someone. Negev is to wipe, or the negev is down south, it's called a negev, it's been hit by the sun. Right? You got nogach, a gore. To gore is called to nogach. Neged is to be against someone. Or noga, even nega is to touch someone. But that's the sherish of the word nag. So nag means to be afflicted. That's the sherish of the word.
Nugi.
Nugi. Omar Belaza. If you daven shachris after 4 hours, Rabbi Yehuda, now my mashma do I know Gilushon the Tzaira, and this nugi is explaining to mean that he's suffering. The chsev dolphin nafshi metuga. Rav Nachman Yitzchak Amar mehacha. But told us nugais pesulais nugais v'himala. The maidens were bitzah, they were suffering. V'imala, it's bitter for them. Rav Avia Chalash. Now another story. Rav Avia was weak, right? V'loi also the Pirkei of Rav Yosef. He didn't go to hear the droshes of Rav Yosef. L'machak Yosef, the next day he came. Boy Abai le'nuchi dait Rav Yosef, and Abai wanted to calm, appease Rav Yosef. So what did he say? Omalei, my time also Mala Pirkei. Why didn't you come yesterday to the lecture? It was a good lecture. Why didn't you come? Right? He said, I had a weak heart. I was weak. They used to say a weak heart meant they felt weak. I was weak, I couldn't come. You don't ascribe to what Rav Huna said. He said, Omer Rav Huna, sorry, I skipped the line. He said, well, you're weak, so why don't you eat? Eat and then come to the shir, right? So the shir was before Musaf, obviously. Before Tefillah of Musaf. He says, why didn't you eat? Amalei, what do you mean, why didn't I eat? I couldn't eat. How could I eat? You're not allowed to eat before Musaf. You're not allowed to eat anything before Musaf. Amalei. So why didn't you pray Musaf privately? You should have prayed privately. You should have eaten something, taken a bite to eat, and come. What was the big deal? Why didn't you come? Amalei. Really? You don't believe in what Rav Yochanan said? Rav Yochanan says, how could I daven Ali? You're not allowed to pray before the tzibur. I couldn't daven Musaf privately before the congregation and then eat. You're not allowed to pray before the congregation. Actually, it's interesting because, okay, Amalei, La Vitma, don't we say on this, Amar Vava, Betziv Shanu, Velei Sil Chasa. Like Ravuna, like Rival. When can you not pray before the congregation? That's only when you're in the congregation. In other words, everyone's about to daven Shemona Esrei in 1 minute, 3 minutes. You can't daven Shemona Esrei before the congregation. But you're allowed to pray by yourself at home before the tzibur. You don't have to wait till the tzibur davens musaf for you to daven musaf, right? Amalei, avaleisach is a like Rafuna, a like Rival. Krafuna hada, Amar Rafuna is what we said now. Rival is give she gives mantfilis a mincha asal el adam shidem klum kodev she spalt first mincha. You should believe he said you're not allowed to eat anything before you daven mincha. We don't paskin like that either. But the implication is here that we do paskin that you're not allowed to pray before the tzibur. In other words, if you're in a shul and everyone's about to daven Shemona Esrei, you're not allowed to daven Shemona Esrei by yourself. I'm in a minyan every morning, and where they daven nates most of the time, and some guy, for whatever reason, he's got his reasons. I guess he has to go, he has to take care of stuff, right? He always starts davening Shemona Esrei 1 minute before everyone else. Originally I thought it's because he thought that's where the nates was, right? But it's not, he's got to go. So, it's also to do that, l'chaira. I'm not passing it for him. And there's machlekes shayim. Why is it also to daven before the tzibur? It doesn't say you shouldn't. It's not. Wait, someone understand this, because if you daven with a tzibur, your prayer is going to be answered, and you're praying beforehand. It's like you don't want your prayers to be answered. Everyone knows prayer of the masses is tefillas harabim is better. Some Rishonim say the reason why, if you daven before the tzibur, it's like you're mevazah the tzibur. It's a disgrace for the tzibur. Why is it a disgrace? Because if you're davening with a kosher tzibur, your prayers are going to be answered. Here, you don't wait for them. Yeah, I'm going to daven by myself. That's one mahalach. It's a bizayin. Some say it looks like you're actually a kaifa. Looks like you believe in some other powers up there. God forbid. Not that we hate any of them, right? But just we don't believe in those powers. That's all it is. So if you pray before everyone else, it looks like the guy might be dodgy. Others want to say, so what's the din if you're in a congregation and the Zman Tefillah is about to pass by? So Zman Tefillah is 10 a.m. and it's 9:58, and you're going to miss Zman Tefillah. They're going to start davening in 5 minutes. Should you pray by yourself now, or is it also to pray before the tzibur? So Rebbeinu and Tamid Rebbeinu say this only applies if you've got time to pray. If you don't have time to pray, it's safe Zman Tefillah, you're going to blow it, so you should daven by yourself, yeshivs, even in a minyan. And it's happened to me several times that, I'm not going to say where they miss Zman Tefillah, Chasidim, you should daven by yeshivs, but Zman. After the Zman, you're not Yetz Tefillah, B'Zman. It's better to be Yetz Tefillah, B'Zman, B'Yechidus. That's how all Rishonim understand. For sure, from this Rebbeinu Yena, it's better to daven B'Yechidus than to wait to miss the Zman and to daven with a tzibur. Question is do you have to go home do you have to leave the shul? According to some shittas, no, you don't have to leave the shul. Since you're not mevazah the tzibur, you want to catch the tefillah b'zman, you don't have to leave shul, you have to go home. Others say no, it's still a b'zayin to the tzibur, therefore you should, therefore you are supposed to leave. Okay, we'll end over here by the Mishnah. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Questions? Yeah, anyone has got any questions, you could please email me. I'm happy to answer you privately. 999-2147@gmail.com. Some very random questions over here. Thank you. Shalom Arav.